Hello, fight fans. Thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, Dana White reacts to Demetrious Johnson's retirement. Moving on, Jorge Masvidal wants to fight former champion Leon Edwards in his UFC return. Lastly, Khamzat Chimaev harshly criticized Dricus Du Plessis. UFC CEO Dana White has given his take on legendary MMA fighter Demetrious Johnson announcing his retirement. During the One Championship 168 event, Johnson announced that he is walking away from pro MMA competition. Johnson leaves the sport having held UFC and won gold. He also snagged the record for the most successful consecutive UFC title defenses. During an interview, Dana White was complimentary of Demetrious Johnson's accomplishments. Here's what he said. "Yeah, I didn't know that he retired. Good for him. Incredible career he had. I never had a problem with Demetrious Johnson. Absolutely, he's a UFC Hall of Famer. Listen, if you go back to when he was here, I was defending him from the fans. Who's defended Demetrious Johnson more than me?" Johnson entered the UFC in 2011 from the WEC promotion. Demetrious Johnson made history with his run as the UFC flyweight champion, but he ended up being traded to One Championship for Ben Askren in 2018. Johnson ends his career with a pro record of 34-4-1. His only career losses have come against Dominic Cruz, Henry Cejudo, Adriano Moraes, and Brad Pickett. Demetrious Johnson avenged his loss to Moraes, defeating him twice before putting an end to his fighting career. Johnson's final pro MMA bout took place in a trilogy bout against Moraes back in May 2023 in Broomfield, Colorado. Johnson successfully retained the One Flyweight Championship via unanimous decision. Jorge Masvidal is planning to make his comeback in MMA, and he's setting his sights on former UFC welterweight champion Leon Edwards. Masvidal hasn't been inside the octagon since 2023 when he was defeated by Gilbert Burns via unanimous decision. Jorge decided to hang up his gloves, but he did end up having a boxing match against his former foe Nate Diaz, falling short via majority decision. Now, Masvidal hopes to settle some unfinished business with Leon Edwards. Jorge Masvidal told ESPN that he hasn't forgotten about a backstage inside in London with Leon Edwards back in 2019, which left Leon bloody. Jorge wouldn't mind mixing it up with Edwards in an official capacity. Here is what he said. "Give me Leon Edwards, bro. What would you call him? A veteran? Ex-champion? Whatever you call that give me that. We've got a built-in history. The UFC has got the whole promo. Let's do the fight at the end of the year, next year. That's it. Let's get it done. And then, after I knock his ass out, guess what? They've got to give me the title shot. He's 0-1 against me. Let's go." Edwards had been pushing for the matchup, but Masvidal ended up falling short in his 2 UFC welterweight championship matches with Kamaru Usman before being beaten by Gilbert Burns. Whether or not the UFC brass is interested in a potential showdown between Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards remains to be seen. It's safe to say that at the very least, both Masvidal and Edwards would be all in. Chechen-Swedish UFC star Khamzat Chimaev has harshly criticized his potential opponent Dricus Du Plessis in a conversation with his friend and fellow fighter Darren Till. "We need to bring the title back to normal people. This guy who holds the belt, it's not normal. This is the first time I've heard that an African is gay." On social media, there have often been photos showing Du Plessis suspiciously kissing his coach after matches, and about a year ago, photos of his alleged engagement with a man under the Eiffel Tower surfaced. Although Till has tried several times to quiet Chimaev to avoid issues with the UFC, Chimaev has not stopped insulting the South African fighter. For context, Chimaev was scheduled to fight in Saudi Arabia 2 months ago against Robert Whittaker, but the bout was postponed due to illness of one of the top fighters in the world. The winner of this match could soon get a shot at the middleweight title, which is currently held by Du Plessis. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.